You ever sit down with a hot cup of tea, stare out the window at a squirrel doing backflips off your bird feeder and think, what the heck is even happening anymore? 'Cause let me tell you, ever since I crossed into my 60s, the world stopped making sense. Like poof, reality checked out and confusion walked in wearing fuzzy slippers. I'm 80, and let me be clear, I've had time to think, a lot of time. Mostly when I can't sleep because my bladder decided 2:17 a.m. is the perfect time for a stroll. And after all these years, I've come to the conclusion that there are at least 9 things that still, and I mean still, don't make sense. Not one bit. And buddy, I've seen 8-track tapes, rotary phones, disco, and that one time your Uncle Jerry tried to fly using a trash bag and a ladder. None of it compares to the mysteries of life after 61. Now don't you wander off on me. I'm about to lay it all out for you, the way old men do. With stories, with laughs, and maybe a few tears if we go deep enough. But you stick with me, all right? Because what I'm about to tell you is as real as the dent in my recliner and twice as honest. Let's start with this. Why do people assume that just because you're older, you've got everything figured out? Like suddenly at 60, you're supposed to know the meaning of life, how to fix a leaky faucet, and which way the stock market's heading. Please, I'm still trying to figure out why socks disappear in the dryer. I've lived through 5 decades of hairstyles, and I still don't know what quinoa is supposed to taste like. And don't even get me started on technology. That's number 2 on my list of things that make no sense. You hand me a phone that doesn't have buttons and expect me to just know how to talk into it? Kid, I come from a time when phones were tethered to the wall like naughty toddlers. Now they fold, they flip, they scan your face, and they probably spy on your cholesterol too. I accidentally sent a dancing pineapple emoji to my dentist last week. Try explaining that at your next cleaning. I asked my grandson to show me how to set up Netflix. The kid looked at me like I just asked him to launch a rocket. Pop, just tap the app. Tap the what? All I wanted was to watch a cowboy movie. Ended up subscribed to 3 streaming services, and somehow I'm paying for yoga classes in Swedish. That's not entertainment, that's sorcery. You want to know what else doesn't make sense? My body. That's number 3. Used to be I could eat an entire meatloaf, chase it with 3 beers, and still have the energy to dance the jitterbug until midnight. Now if I eat a breadstick too fast, I need a nap, a hot compress, and possibly a will revision. My body sounds like a haunted house every time I stand up, creaks, groans, and one time I swear I heard a ghost say, ouch. And speaking of naps, when did they become mandatory? I used to mock my old man for snoozing in his chair. Now I understand. The nap isn't optional. It finds you, like a heat-seeking missile. One minute you're reading the news, the next your head's back, mouth open, and you're dreaming about the 1972 World Series. But wait, I'm not done. Number 4, doctors. Remember when they used to know your name, shake your hand, maybe even give you a lollipop if you were good? Now they're 12 years old. They type faster than they talk, and they use words like preventative optimization. I asked one if my cholesterol was all right, and he said, let's see what the algorithm says. Algorithm? Son, I want your opinion, not Siri's. And another thing, why do pants get so complicated after 60? That's number 5. I had a pair of jeans I loved, worn for 15 years. One day they just gave up, split right down the middle like Moses parting the sea. So I go to buy a new pair. The store has relaxed fit, classic fit, athletic taper, dad cut, and something called Urban Slim. Urban Slim? I've been retired for 2 decades. What about sturdy and forgiving? That's the fit I want. Oh, and shoes. Remember when they were just shoes? Now everything's ergonomic, orthopedic, or biodynamic. I just want something that doesn't squeak and won't make me fall on my butt while checking the mail. Is that so much to ask? Now here's one that'll get you. Number 6. Why do everyone whisper around old people like we're ancient wizards who might vanish if startled? I went to a family dinner, and the whole time people talked to me like I was made of glass. Do you want some more mashed potatoes, Grandpa? I'm not 200. I still have teeth. Talk to me like a person, not a porcelain doll on a shelf. And don't forget, I'm still sharp. Just because I can't hear the microwave beep doesn't mean I don't know what's going on. I've lived through 13 presidents. I know what betrayal feels like. I've voted for 3 of them. You think I don't know how to read people? Please, I can spot a liar faster than a cat on a hot tin roof. I just can't hear him lying anymore. Okay, hold on a second. Before we go further down this rabbit hole, I've got to say something real quick. If you've made it this far, you're either very patient or very curious, and I like both. So if you're enjoying this old man rambling about life's greatest mysteries, why don't you go ahead and give this video a like? Drop a comment about what still confuses you after 60. And hey, subscribe to the channel so we can keep chatting like this. You never know when I'll show up again, coffee in hand, ready to rant about smart toasters or self-driving lawnmowers. All right, back to the nonsense. Number 7, social media. You want to explain to me why people film themselves crying in their car? Back in my day, if you cried in your car, it was because gas hit 79 cents and your date dumped you before prom. You didn't take a selfie, you took a long drive and yelled at the radio. Now it's #healing. And don't even try to explain TikTok. All I understand is a ticking from a clock, and even that gets suspicious if it's too quiet. I signed up for Facebook once, made one post about my dog, and next thing I knew I was tagged in someone's wedding photos in Brazil. I don't know those people, and I don't want to poke anyone. What even is that? Can we bring back handwritten letters and postcards? I miss those. There was effort in that. A stamp, a nice envelope, maybe a coffee stain. Now that was real connection. 8, and this one's big, is loneliness. Nobody warns you about that. You can be surrounded by people and still feel like you're on the moon. After a certain age, you start to lose folks. Friends, siblings, people you argued politics with just for fun. They go, and the world gets quieter. Not silent, just less full. But what makes no sense is that with all this technology, all this connection, it still feels harder than ever to really talk to someone. Not text, not emoji. Talk. Look someone in the eye and say, "I'm not okay today." That's the stuff we need more of. And finally, number 9. Why does love get stronger and more confusing as you age? I lost the love of my life 10 years ago, and every day I still talk to her like she's making tea in the kitchen. Sometimes I swear I hear her laugh when I burn the toast. You'd think the heart would slow down with age, but no. Mine races every time I hear our song, every time I see a couple holding hands at the park. It's like time stopped for that part of me. And you know what? I'm glad it did. There's still so much I don't understand, but maybe that's the point. Maybe life isn't about figuring everything out. Maybe it's about sharing the confusion, laughing through the nonsense, and holding on to the moments that do make sense. Like this one, right now, me talking to you. So stick around, my friend. I've got more stories than a barber shop on a Saturday morning. And if you ever feel like the world's a little too much, well, now you know you're not alone. Now, where was I? Yes, right there at the edge of that 9th mystery. Love. You know, it's funny. People think when you get old, you stop feeling, that your heart sort of powers down like an old television set, flickers out. But let me tell you something. Love gets louder with time, not quieter. I can walk into an empty room and feel my wife's presence so strong, I'll start talking to her like she's right there knitting by the window, and I don't even question it anymore. It doesn't make sense, does it? How love lingers, how it stretches itself across time and memory and silence. But maybe it's not supposed to make sense. Maybe it's just supposed to be. Like breath, like light through the blinds on a lazy Sunday morning. And speaking of things that don't make sense, let's add number 10 to the list, just for the heck of it. Why, oh why, do commercials get louder than the actual show? You sit there, comfy in your chair, wrapped in your favorite blanket that smells like old books and peppermint, watching a quiet mystery movie. And then, boom! A man's yelling at you about car insurance or adult diapers at full volume like he's trying to reach Mars. Scares the living daylights out of me every time. I dropped an entire bowl of popcorn once because of that nonsense. And don't get me started on how they try to advertise things we didn't even know we needed. Anti-wrinkle bed sheets, smart toilet paper, and for some reason, every third ad is either for funeral insurance or dating apps for seniors. What a combo. I guess they figure either you're falling in love or falling into the grave. No in between. Now, let's talk about another mystery. Mornings. Why do they start earlier as you get older? I used to sleep in until noon if I wanted. Now, my eyelids pop open at 5:14 a.m. every day without fail. Doesn't matter if I went to bed at 10 or 2 in the morning. My body just knows the sun is about to rise and decides, let's go ruin this man's REM cycle. So I get up, shuffle to the kitchen, make my coffee, sit in my chair and watch the birds argue at the feeder. And I gotta admit, even if it don't make sense, there's something kind of magical about being up before the world. It's quiet, still, like you've got the whole universe to yourself for a little while. Here's another thing that just blows my mind. Time. That's number 12. And listen, if you're young and reading this, let me tell you now, time is a trickster. When you're a kid, it moves like honey. Every summer lasted a century. Every school day felt like a prison sentence. But after 60, time shifts gears. Suddenly you blink and it's Christmas again. You look at your calendar and realize it's been 3 years since you called that friend you used to see every Thursday. What's the deal with that? Time used to wait for us, now it's dragging us behind it like a rope on the back of a pickup truck. That's why you've got to cherish every tiny, ridiculous, beautiful moment. Yes, even the ones where you're yelling at the remote because it changed languages and now your favorite show is in German. Here's something else I'll never understand. Why younger folks assume we old-timers hate fun. Like we all just sit around polishing our reading glasses and sighing about the good old days. Kid, I've had more fun in the back seat of a '67 Buick than you've had on half your vacations. Just because I walk slower doesn't mean I don't remember how to dance. My knees are shot, sure, but my soul, that thing still twirls when I hear Chuck Berry. You know what I miss? Dancing in the living room. No phones, no TikTok, just a record player spinning something smooth and me holding my love like the world had stopped. And in those moments, it did. It stopped long enough for us to fall in love again every night. We were reckless once too, you know. I got kicked out of a diner for trying to slide across the counter like in the movies, landed flat on my back and spilled 2 milkshakes on the cook. Still have the scar and the memory. And guess what? I wouldn't trade it for all the Bluetooth earbuds in the world. I'll tell you another thing that makes no sense. The prices of things today. Good grief. When did eggs become a luxury item? I remember buying a dozen for 63 cents. Now they come wrapped like jewelry. Don't even get me started on gas. I saw a kid on a scooter, and honestly, I think he might be the genius of our generation. You know what else doesn't add up? How kids are expected to figure out their whole life by 18. I didn't know what I was doing at 30. Heck, sometimes I'm still not sure. Life isn't a straight road. It's a country path full of detours, potholes, and the occasional angry goose. Let them figure it out in their own time. And while we're at it, retirement. That word doesn't even make sense anymore. I retired, and suddenly I was busier than I'd ever been. People think you just sit on a porch and count clouds. Nah, you end up volunteering, fixing everyone's broken lamps, babysitting grandkids, and somehow becoming the neighborhood's designated old wise man, even if you're still trying to remember how to work the garage remote. You think you slow down, but you don't. Life finds a way to keep you moving. You just get better at choosing which direction to move in. Now here's a mystery that'll really cook your noodle. Memory. Sometimes I can't remember what I had for breakfast, but I can tell you exactly what she wore on our third date in 1967. Green polka dot dress, hair up in a bun, a little smudge of red lipstick on her front tooth that she didn't even know about. And I didn't tell her either. I wanted that moment to last forever. Funny, isn't it? The heart remembers what the brain forgets. Now, I won't keep you too much longer. I know you've got places to be, maybe even a warm meal waiting. But before we part ways, I want to share one more thought, maybe the most important one. Life doesn't have to make sense. It really doesn't. It doesn't make sense that a song can make you cry 20 years after it stopped playing on the radio. It doesn't make sense that you can fall in love at 70 or feel lonely in a crowded room. It doesn't make sense that your knees stop working, but your heart still races when someone says your name just right. But that's what makes life, life. It's messy, it's confusing, and it never stops surprising you. So don't spend all your time trying to solve the mystery. Spend it living the mystery. Laugh at the nonsense. Dance even if your joints sound like bubble wrap. Wear the hat even if it makes you look like a confused chicken farmer. Because one day, my friend, you'll look back and realize that all those moments that didn't make sense, they were the ones that mattered most. And if you ever feel lost in it all, just remember, somewhere out there, there's an old man sipping his coffee, watching squirrels argue over peanuts, and thinking about you. Hoping you're smiling, hoping you're okay. So until next time, keep wondering, keep laughing, and for heaven's sake, don't let the commercials scare the popcorn out of your hands. I'll be here, friend, always ready with another story, and maybe, just maybe, a little more nonsense for us both to enjoy.